For those of you who don't know who Epictetus is, he was born into slavery and later freed himself as a Stoic philosopher and was able to actually teach his lessons through his lectures. And one of his students was able to take notes and note all his teachings and quotes, which we have today, which I am so grateful for. So here are 10 rules for a healthier and happier life from Epictetus. Rule number 1, there are some things outside of your control and there's some things that you can control. So Epictetus says that the chief task in life is to identify and understand what is in your control, and for everything else, they don't really matter. And this is probably the most important principle in Stoicism. If you want a thorough explanation of this, then watch my video here where I really dive deep into it and I talk about what we can control and what we can't control. Moving on, rule number 2, you are a product of your choices, which means basically you are a product of your habits. Every day, what you choose to do becomes who you are in the future. So don't worry about tomorrow, focus on what's important today, and tomorrow will take care of itself. Rule number 3, you always have the power to have no opinion. This means 2 things to me. 1, you always have the power to suspend your opinion. If someone asks you for your opinion on something, or if someone's having a discussion about a political thing, you always have the power to just not say anything. If someone asks for your opinion, you can just say you have no opinion about it. It just is. And that is very powerful. You don't have to always, feel like you belong to a certain group, to have a certain opinion about a strong subject. You can just have no opinion at all and choose peace of mind over having an opinion. And number 2, this is what Epictetus really means about this. It's not things that upset us, but it's our opinion about them. So if someone were to treat you harshly, it's not them treating you harshly that's pissing you off, it's your opinion about them. And I'll prove it right now. If that person were to swear at you at a different language and you didn't understand that language at all, you wouldn't take any offense to it because you're not putting any meaning to it. But when you put meaning to it and you understand the language, that is when your opinion actually negatively influences your judgment about it. So you always can have no opinion over anything, and that will keep your emotions in check. Rule number 4, one of the most important rules as well, is to show and don't tell. So Epictetus shows us that the most important rule of Stoicism is to embody it and not just show it. Embody it by taking action, by going on runs, by working out your muscles so they don't become weaker, by just taking action day by day and not just talking and debating about it. We think about philosophers right now in today's modern age as like a weak, skinny man in their glasses. Stoics back in the day were hardcore people. They were hunters, they were boxers, they were athletes, they were soldiers, they were strong ass people. And we have to remember that to embody the philosophy instead of just keep talking about it. Which is why I try my best to seek challenges every day, to treat my body harshly so my mind is not disobedient, to be a leader in front of the camera, because you guys wouldn't be listening to a fat person speak to you right now. That's the truth. I personally have a problem listening to a doctor trying to give me health advice when that doctor is unhealthy. Imagine someone who smoked told you not to smoke. How hypocritical is that? Don't you have a problem listening to these people? Which is why it's more important to embody your philosophy than to talk about it. Number 5, test your impressions and emotions before acting on it. It means pause and ask yourself, should I act on my initial reaction when something comes my way? Is this something that I want to do? Is this something that my character wants to be represented by? Or should I pause and choose a different action? Let me think about all the possibilities that can happen from my action and then make a decision. And this is why I love playing chess, because chess is exercising this rule. It's exercising testing your emotions and your skills and your impressions. Before you do a move on the board, you're looking at all the different possibilities, all the different outcomes, and the consequences of your actions. So maybe you can play chess to practice this rule. Rule number 6, say no to the need to impress others. Epictetus said, if your innate purpose is to impress others, then be sure that you have wrecked your entire purpose in life. That is very powerful in today's age because we are controlled by social media and we dictate whether our days are good or bad based on other people's opinions about us. If something such as people's opinions dictate whether you're having a good day or not, then you're not going to have a good life. Rule number 7, accepting and embracing what happens to you. Epictetus taught us that if we want a well-flowing life, to wish what is out to happen to us, not what we wish, what we want to happen to us. So when you pray and you tell God that you want a certain life and that you want luxury and this and that, Epictetus is saying not to do that because you won't live a good life like that. Instead, wish for things that are out to happen that will make your life stronger, that will make your character better. So if that means you have to suffer more than other people in order to live a more meaningful life, then that's what it is. It is what it is. He's saying train yourself not only to accept things, but to actually love your fate, amore fati. Love what happens to you. Love whatever happens to you. Even if it's the worst of things and it could get really, really bad. Like, I know life is full of suffering and you can experience like death and loss of people and sickness and this and that. He's saying to train yourself to love these things, because these things will challenge you to be a leader and better society in the world around you, to better your character, to better your virtue, and this will lead into a more peaceful life instead of one that is full of vice and self-sabotaging hate. Rule number 8, judge yourself but not others. Epictetus says when you're learning about philosophy, you're putting yourself in a hospital trying to get better from this disease, just like the patient next to you. So just because you're practicing philosophy doesn't mean you're better than anyone else. It just means you're trying to improve just like everyone else. To practice philosophy means to self-improve. So remember, before you judge others, we are just as flawed and we are just a few actions from being engrossed and going down the wrong path. There's this beautiful story from Ryan Holiday's book, Courage is Calling, where this son, James Baldwin, when he went to his father's funeral, these words struck him and hit him so dear. He had a love and hate relationship for his father, and this is what the pastor said to make him feel very emotional. Thou knowest this man's fall, but thou knowest not his wrestling. What this means is it's very easy to judge, but it's very hard to know. It's so hard to know what someone is going through, what their struggles are in life. It's so easy to just look at someone and judge them for their actions, for their struggles. You don't know the risk that that person is taking. You don't know who they're trying to protect. You don't know anything about that person, yet you judge them right away. And this is something that I am flawed in. I am a judgmental person, and this is because I judge myself a lot. I need to work on that. I need to pause and test my impression of judging people and judge myself first, because I am just as flawed as anyone else. So let us not waste another second judging another person. Let us put that scrutiny all on oneself. Number 9, practice letting go. We suffer when we lose things we love, and we suffer the most when we lose the closest people in our lives. Epictetus reminds us that this is the most natural part of life and it is the most unavoidable. Life means death. To live means you're gonna die, and it is the most fundamental and truest logical thing in this world, yet we go into despair and emotions when this happens. Everyone does, including myself. Everyone will suffer and cry and do all that. But the Stoics say that the suffering is only increased by the belief that we possess the object as part of our lives. But in reality, it's not part of our lives. They are their own entity. Number 10, the last rule, dissociate yourself from negative people. Epictetus says, if a person gave away your body to some passerby, you'd be furious. Yet you hand over your mind to anyone who comes along, so they may abuse you, leaving it disturbed and troubled. Have you no shame in that? So remember to value your time and not let other negative people get in it, because that will corrupt you inside out. You know how one rotten apple ruins the whole garden? When you're always surrounded by noise and other people and yes men, they're not gonna help you find yourself. So if you wanna find yourself, seek solitude, seek challenges, and overcome them alone, because someone's not gonna reach their hand out to you and pull you out of an obstacle all the time. Sometimes you have to learn how to survive on your own. So that is my advice to you. That is the last rule, dissociate yourself from negative people. I hope these 10 rules helped you guys live a better and healthier life. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, as I will post twice a week, every week. Thank you, until next time.